Good morning, bonjour, good morning. Thank you very much for coming for the tour of Philippe Parreno's new exhibition at the Fondation Beyeler. We just opened it actually it's open since yesterday, and we have the opportunity to have the artist Philippe Parreno here, and this gives you a very special chance to get the insight of the artist on his work and on his exhibition. I'd like to say first that the Fondation Beyeler is very proud to have this exhibition here. We have a long-term relationship with Philippe Parreno. We have done projects in the past. And some of you may remember the presentation of his film Sidan that he did together with Douglas Gordon here in the Herzog and de Meuron Design Stadium in Basel. Those of you who went to Miami maybe have seen the last appearance of Anne Lee on the beach there, that we supported of Philippe. And many of you may remember the Tempo del Postino exhibition that took place at the theater in Basel. I think it was 3 years ago, and where Philippe and Hans-Ulrich Obrist invited over a dozen of the leading artists to do a piece. So Philippe has often been the mastermind behind these collaborations, but in recent years he has done some extraordinary solo projects. Some of his solo exhibitions include in Switzerland the one at the Kunsthalle in Zurich. He has had a show at the Centre Georges Pompidou, at the Irish Museum of Modern Art, Barts College, and a fantastic show at the Serpentine Gallery in London. And we've been wanting for a long time to do something with him. Now the time is right. Philippe is the youngest artist ever to have a solo exhibition at the Fondation Beyeler. Also the youngest one to enter our collection, and the first artist ever to dare to do an exhibition with only new works. And Michiko who was the co-curator of the exhibition, will now tell you a little bit about the show, which is a very special show, because the way Philippe is working is not that he is only creating works and exhibiting them. He is thinking, rethinking, questioning what is an exhibition, and how can an exhibition be more than the parts of the pieces. So in fact all the pieces are connected to each other and interlinked in a very subtle and intelligent and highly innovative ways. So you're going to experience that. He wonderfully worked also with the architecture of the Fondation Beyeler and with the landscape, and he's activated the rooms in a way that it has never been done before, and he has used spaces that have not been used and used spaces that have been used in a very different way. So you're going to see the Renzo Piano designed building. You're going to experience it in a very special and different way, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. So, Michiko, could you please tell us what we're going to see?
The center of the exhibition consists of 2 films entitled CHZ and Marilyn, which are on view in the rooms next to us. CHZ stands for Continuously Habitable Zones and is used in astrobiology to designate planets where conditions are gathered to make life possible. Scientific studies have shown that life is imaginable, is possible on a planet which would have not one single sun like our planet, but 2 or more smaller suns, so-called dwarf suns. But if you expose vegetation to the light of more than one sun, this vegetation would turn completely black. And this is what Philippe Parreno shows in CHZ, a planet with black vegetation. So you will see different landscapes. You will see a forest of black trees, rocks looking like volcanic rocks, a grass field, a black grass field with a beautiful horizon, with a sunset of not one but two suns, etc. The impressive soundtrack of CHZ consists entirely of recordings made underground. And it feels like when you enter the room, it feels like your body is truly penetrated by this soundtrack. The other film, Marilyn, is the portrait of Marilyn Monroe's ghost. This ghost has been brought back to life in a suite of the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New York, where Marilyn Monroe used to spend time in the 1950s. It's like a still life that Philippe Parreno has painted here, but instead of using brush and paint, he used a camera. A female voice reads texts written by Philippe Parreno himself and is a reconstitution of Marilyn Monroe's actual voice. You will see a golden pen writing on letter paper of the Waldorf Astoria Hotel, and soon it will turn out that this pen is handled by a robot reproducing the handwriting of Marilyn Monroe. For this exhibition, Philippe Parreno created or composed a real choreography, including images and sounds, and involving several spaces within the museum and also beyond. The soundtracks of the films can be heard here within the Winter Garden, the lower part of the Winter Garden, as well as in the upper part of the Winter Garden. And you can also hear the soundtracks with loudspeakers placed inside of the two marquees that you can see here. It feels as if the deep bass of the soundtrack of CHZ is intense enough to make these marquees shiver. These marquees have been conceived and made especially for this exhibition, and it's the first time that Philippe Parreno used added sound and mirrors to his marquees. The soundtracks of the films can also be seen on one hand in the lights of the marquees, where the light intensity is constantly varying, and on the other side in an installation placed inside of the water lilies pond next to the entrance of the museum. This installation consists of sound generators, which are communicating with plexiglass panels, and the vibrations made by the sound generators creates small waves on the water surface. You can see this installation from the outside, of course, and also from the inside of the museum, especially from a room where two new series of drawings are shown. Two new series. One of them is a series of drawings showing landscapes from the CHZ film. This series is now part of the Fondation Beyeler's collection. And the other series consists of these texts written on the letter paper of the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. Eventually there is a DVD containing both films with a different soundtrack composed by musician Arthur Lindsay. This DVD is given to every visitor, and once it has been viewed, the films erase themselves immediately. This exhibition is a new experience where the visitor is guided by lights and images, sound and unexpected details through the museum. The exhibition is even carried out of the museum with this DVD. So Philippe Parreno gives us once again the chance to experience a very special definition of an exhibition.
Hello everybody. Don't know what to add really. Apart from what can I add? No, I think the show, yeah, I do believe, as Sam said it before, I do believe that, I always believed in the fact that an exhibition was an act of creation. That, which is to be so obvious to say that, but there's no object of art without its exhibition, and vice versa. So I do believe that even a painting, you know, deals with exhibition, or with its exhibition. So for me, as a young artist, I made a shortcut and I decided to forget about the object and focus about the project behind an exhibition. So, and I kept that, that for a long time until today, I believe. I did for a long time work with other artists because of mainly because of that, because I believe that as well that art was conversational, that art was about conversation and conversation linked to forms, and I did that for a long time until in Basel, which is quite symbolic. So for me it's quite symbolic to be here, because after the last collaboration I engaged with artists was in Basel for this postman time experience, and then I decided to stop it for a while. I guess entering into a middle life crisis, but also apart from that, decided to also make my come out as an artist dealing with objects. So for me, it's a new experience, and I'm taking that experience quite seriously. So I start to develop. Or to reflect on two things that have been coming out from my work since the last 20 years. And maybe that's one thing that I pointed out was always a question to me, was this idea of portrait and portraiture, and which I addressed once, which I addressed since in the beginning I made art with a project called Anne Lee, which was about a little fictional character that I bought a write-off with another artist, Pierre Rig, to Zidane, the portrait I did of the football player with Douglas Gordon. It was a leitmotiv, so to speak, you know, to capture the meaning of portraiture and representation of a human into an image. And so I believe the films here are, which were really the starting point, was this idea to present two new portraits, I believe. So one is Sea Egypt, which is this portrait of this creature, this beast. It's a methodology of work that I already used before a film called Boys from Mars, which was also a portrait. This methodology was to believe that there was a link to operate between an image and the real. So I decided to plant a garden, and not to make a film. And now that the film is done, the garden still lives. So I tried to put a link between an image and life. And I believe a bit like Frankenstein, producing life by producing an image. So that was for CHZ. And for Marilyn, I guess it's obviously a portrait of a dead person. And I engaged into this portrait, yet questioning the fact that how she's not there, and how can you represent somebody who's not there? It's quite a romantic idea. And I decided to use the biometry, which meant like eye recognition, voice recognition, and signature. And so the camera looked like as if she's looking, like the POV, subjectivity. And then the handwriting, and then the voice speaking. The voice says what the eyes sees, and the hands write what the voice says. So There is something I believe quite sad in the fact that in a way you can bring her back to life. And actually we did start the shooting by doing a session of spiritism in the set. And then you will kind of enjoy this moment when she's there, but of course you start to believe in it in a way, as you believe in pictures. And then you have a side that she keeps saying over and over the same thing because she's dead. And it's just a robot. So these two films are basically the heart of the show, but then of course I'm interested by the way that how this film can function together into the space, or into a space of architecture. And I start to work in the fact that in a way where it will be so well inscribed into the space as if it always belonged to the museum. You know? And I believe that when art kind of like spreads itself so well into the walls, when it's there forever, we feel it's there forever, then maybe the show is completed. So I started to work that way and try to find exchanges between the two films, how you can listen to the soundtrack of a film without looking at the film. And it became this question of like, you know, you have two images, and in a museum you have different perspectives toward these images. So you can be in one of the two rooms, not looking at the film, but listening to the film, and still have a perception of it. You can be standing where we're standing, and have fragments of this image leaking out. Or you can be outside and looking at the ripples across the water, or you can go home and watch the film once again in your bedroom and have another perception on them. So yeah, I guess the show is all about that. Try to establish a phenomenological relation to an image and try to remember it.